Hey now, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and it is now time. What time is it? For my best of 2015 in film. This is it. This is everything. This is what I've loved in 2015. Obviously, it's not everybody's opinion. It's my own opinion. So, there you go. Before I jump into the top 10 list, let me talk about the honorable mentions. Movies that I enjoyed, that I had fun with, but didn't quite make the cut. Terminator Genesis. Not everybody liked this movie. That's clear. But I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's the best sequel of the Terminator movies since Judgment Day. Southpaw, I thought was a really interesting story. Great performances from everybody all the way around. Jake Gyllenhaal is just a chameleon when it comes to acting. Jurassic World, I know. Even I had some complaints here and there about logic in the writing in the film, how some of the human characters come off. But I can't deny how much fun the action is, how much fun the dinosaurs are. And you cannot deny that the last half hour or whatever of the dinosaur fight in this movie is amazing. Simply amazing. And Mad Max Fury Road. I know some people are going to be like, what? It's not even in your top 10. I know. I didn't love it as much as some other people did, but I acknowledge that this is an insane, crazy, badass action movie. Rated R to the T. Let's get into my top 10 best of 2015 at number 10. The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Now this was big, especially if you were a fan of the Hunger Games movies or even the books. This was it. This was the end. You'd finally get to the conclusion of what was going to happen with Katniss or Peeta or even President Snow. Like, this was something I was very much looking forward to, especially because Part 1, I can't say I was disappointed, but I was definitely left on the note where I was down and depressed. A lot of messed up stuff happened in Part 1, and it left you like, more, give me more. And we got more. We got a whole lot of more action. We got a whole lot of character development, especially with Peeta. And I really liked the ending. I liked how it ended off. Jennifer Lawrence has totally kicked ass in these Hunger Game movies. She's a great actress, and no matter what. Oh, number 9, Furious 7. Yes, this is a bittersweet Fast and Furious movie in many ways, because this is it. This is Paul Walker's very last movie in general, but Fast and Furious movie. It sucks that he died, how he died, the fact that they didn't even finish this movie before he died. And the send-off that they give him at the end of this movie is beautiful. It's just great. You really can't end. I wish it was the end of a franchise. It would have been the best way to end it. I can't even imagine this franchise without him. Look, I'm not saying that these are some of the best movies, right? This is Part 7. So obviously the action is more over the top. Obviously you have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Vin Diesel, Jason Statham just beating the fuck out of each other in some of these fight scenes. But that's what you want. If you can keep bringing the excitement level, keep bringing the badass moments, just make me have fun for 2 hours or whatever it is, then I really can't complain about that. Number 8, The Martian. Talk about a movie that just sort of creeped up in my top 10 list. Not because I wasn't expecting to like it. I was looking forward to it because it was Matt Damon, it was Ridley Scott back in space, and I heard a lot of good things about the novel, but this movie was a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable to watch than I imagined it to be. Matt Damon is so charismatic, so funny in this film. It made it very enjoyable even when he's by himself on Mars, showing how fucking intelligent he is, growing crops and vegetables on Mars. Science, people. Science. And he's cracking jokes. He's very lovable, and you really want him to survive, especially when shit goes bad. It goes fucking bad, and you feel bad for him, and you're really rooting for this guy to make it back home. Number 7, Ant-Man. Ant-Man. How could I make a top 10 list without putting Marvel in there? Does it make me a Marvel fanboy? Maybe, but I'm damn proud of it. Some people might not like the goofiness or the lighthearted tone that this movie has. A lot of people want more of the dark, serious tone that DC is going to bring. And I do too, but that doesn't mean we can't have some fun with superheroes. Not every superhero has to be dark and brooding. I like having fun. I like seeing a superhero movie that families could go to and enjoy. Michael Douglas in a Marvel movie, I still can't get over that. Paul Rudd as a superhero, I still can't get over that. The fact that Edgar Wright left, there was so many things going against this movie, and it probably shouldn't have been as good as I thought it was, but it was. It was fun. The fact that we have a movie with Ant-Man in it, a character that maybe not everybody knew, but I grew up with in cartoons and stuff. And just, I never thought I'd see the day, but that day is now. Number 6, Creed. I admit I'm a more recent Rocky fan, just watching the movies for the first time and how much I enjoyed most of them. But Creed was one of those movies that you almost didn't know you wanted until they gave it to us. When you saw the trailer, when you saw Michael B. Jordan as Apollo Creed's son, it's just like, this is making all too much sense. And then you have Stallone, who at this point is pretty old, but still having him as involved as he was, as the older guy who's coming in there to train Creed, take care of him, sort of keep him away from the dangers in boxing, and then him dealing with cancer. All of that, it never felt like Stallone was in the backseat. He was still very much a part of the story, like he was, but it was also very much Adonis Creed's story. I liked Michael B. Jordan a lot. He needed this movie after Fantastic Four. Oh boy, did he ever need this movie. Number 5, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Another franchise where it's like 5 movies in, and you guys are still having this much fun, still bringing us this creative of action scenes, spy scenes, Tom Cruise in that water. That whole sequence was amazing. Amazing. Some of the best stuff in the film. I think I saw it in 3D, because I remember that really sticking out as well. Tom Cruise is insane. The stuff that he's still willing to do in his 50s, going out there on the side of a plane, doing that himself. Why does he have to do that? Because he's insane. Because he wants to die. I bet he wants to die. Mission Impossible 6, when they start making that, he wants to go. Because what other badass way could Tom Cruise leave this earth is doing something like that? The fact that we're at a point now, I know, just now at a point where we have a cohesive team, we have a legit team from movie to movie with Simon Pegg, Jeremy Renner, Ving Rhames, like, we have our unit now. And that's how it should be. Number 4, a movie that I'm sure people forgot about because of when it came out in the year. It came out in February. And how many good movies come out in February? Let's be honest. Kingsmen, The Secret Service. Matthew Vaughn, I should have known when he made Kick-Ass and how much fun I had with Kick-Ass, how much I loved it, that he could take another pretty obscure comic book property and do something with it. Make it fun. Make it insane. Colin Firth, some of the action that he does in this movie at the age that he's at, I don't know how he was able to pull it off, but that scene in the church where it's apeshit and he kills everybody. I mean, spoilers, I don't know how many people saw this. I think it did fairly well. It's getting a sequel. I like that we have a new British, soon-to-be franchise that's not James Bond. It's a British spy movie. It's a lot of fun. A lot of good actors in this movie too. Mark Strong, Samuel L. Jackson as the villain was a lot of fun. Michael Caine. At number 3, Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton, this was one of those musical biography films that they've made a lot of them at this point, of course. And I don't always get into them. I don't always care so much about them. But this movie spoke to a lot of us, I think. Just seeing these kids who were coming from their environments, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, their lifestyles, how they wanted to get out of that lifestyle. And they went out and they were a success story. And even if you don't love their music, even if you don't want to listen to their music, you have to respect what their music is about, what came from their music, why they made this type of music, because of the stuff they took from the police, from everything of their race, just what they went through. Everything almost echoes what is still going on today with the riots and police brutality. That stuff is still relevant 20-something years later, which is kind of sad, but also makes watching this film that much more eerie and meaningful all at the same time. I loved it. I loved it. I loved the acting. I love how true they were. They weren't afraid to show some of their bad sides, some of their party sides, some of their crazy sides, some of their, dysfunction within the group. Number 2, this movie for a long time was my number 1 of the year. It only just recently became number 2 for obvious reasons. Avengers: Age of Ultron. This might be a little controversial just because, I'm not saying everybody, but there's a good amount of people who weren't as happy with this film. Maybe they didn't like it as much as the first one, which I understand. Or maybe they wanted more of a serious tone, or they wasn't happy with how Ultron was created. All of this stuff that I can't completely disagree with, but fuck, man, this is Avengers. This is something that I waited my childhood for. This is something that you wait years and years, something that you almost think is never going to happen. Am I giving it a pass just because it's Marvel or it's Avengers? I don't know. Maybe, but I can't help but, just take in that feeling that these movies give me. That feeling that makes me feel like I'm 10 years old again, watching these special effects that are gorgeous to look at. You're watching Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. Hell, when Hulk goes up against Iron Man and the Hulkbuster, that whole fight is awesome. It's awesome. It's great. It's fun. I love the introduction of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. They brought in the Vision. How many people thought they would get to a point where the Vision would be in movies? I sure did. Or the fact that we got some backstory on characters like Black Widow or even Hawkeye. The fact that we feel more connected to these characters. I can't gush anymore about this movie. That's just me. I loved it. But it's not my number 1. Yes, what movie was able to sweep in and beat out Avengers on my list for the best movie of 2015? Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Now, I think more people love this than, like me, defending Avengers, but you still do see some people saying stuff, or how it's just Episode 4, New Hope all over again, and this and that, and it's like, okay, people, you can have your thoughts, have your opinions, that's fine, but that doesn't take away from my love. That doesn't take away from why I don't think it's a complete copy, how I think that it just takes certain moments that we know and love from Star Wars and expounds upon it, builds off of it, makes new characters, makes new situations, stories, relationships. I love these new main characters like Finn, Rey. I'm fascinated by them. I cannot wait to see what we do with them in the next couple of episodes. Kylo Ren, I think, is a badass. Sure, he's young and immature and he's going to make mistakes and he's not perfect. He's not supposed to be Vader just yet. How could it be a remake if he's not like Vader? He's building up to that point. He's the Anakin Skywalker that we should have had. A character that's still new, that just got corrupted by the dark side, and we're seeing him progress. We're seeing how it affected everybody in this universe and how it's this huge thing. I can't wait to see what happens next. The action, the special effects, galore. I've already seen the movie twice in theaters. I plan on seeing it at least one more time, if not more. I can't help the smile I had on my face watching this film, how immersed I was in this universe, how much I wanted more. Even people complaining that, oh, they didn't answer this question, that question, there's so many questions unanswered. Yeah, this is part 1 of a trilogy. Do you want everything just laid out and us have nothing to look forward to? This is what you want from these movies. That we are all speculating, that we are all interested to see what happens next. it brought Star Wars back in a big, big way. A hell of a lot more than those prequels did. I'm sorry, but it did. This movie made me fall in love with Star Wars. The originals, that got me into Star Wars, but the prequels, it hurt. This movie brought it back, brought that feeling back, and I can't be happier. I really can't. Clearly. Anyways, guys, it's okay if you disagree with my list. It's totally fine. Just don't be a dick about it. Let's talk. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of my list, or what are your top 10 favorite movies of 2015. I'd love to know. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!